sit over there. I'll go sit over there.
I don't care. All right, so guys, some of this has already been filled out because of third period, but I'll just keep using the same one. There'll be two separate videos posted.
Whenever it says find, that's on the x-axis.
All right. I don't care if you work on your review, but I don't want you. You can't be talking while I'm up here because it's going to be on the video. All right. So guys, the first part is going to be evaluating graphically. Remember what you do. This is an x value. What it's saying is find the y value when the x value is 7. Okay. So I'll go find this number on the x-axis. There it is. Okay. Now, just so it happened, when I circled the 7 on the x-axis, it's actually defined there as well. That don't happen a lot. So this coordinate is 7, 0. So if you write the coordinate for where it's defined, okay, then the y value is the answer. The 7's given to you. What they're wanting is the y value. So this is 0. Okay. Now, while we're at this problem, make sure if it asks you f of 1, okay, find that number on the x-axis. There it is. Guys, does anybody remember what an open circle means? Not defined or undefined, right? Okay, so this is undefined. Guys, what you would do is go find 1 on the x-axis. Remember, x is 1 anywhere on this vertical line. Well, here, that's undefined. So that could not be, if that's the only point you would have there, not this, the black one wasn't there, then that would be undefined. However, notice you have a black dot down here that's on that same vertical x equals 1 line. So the answer here would be that coordinate right there is 1, -3. So the answer there would be -3. Okay? So it could be defined on the function. It could be defined by a black dot. If you have an open circle or it doesn't have a graph, then it's undefined at that x value. So if it asks me about f of -10, there it is here, what would I tell it? If it asks me what f of -10 is. Do you have a dot, a black dot? There's no black dot on this line, right? There's no function there that we know of. So that would be undefined. Because you don't know what it is based on this graph. So just keep in mind that they give you x value, you just got to tell them what the y value is. Guys, the next one, I done went over this one, but I want to go over it with you again. This is evaluating algebraically. Okay. So they give you an x value of 4. Okay. Looking at these domain x less than 1, x is between 1 and 4, and x greater than or equal to 4. You've got 3 domains. Notice that this x value shows up in domain number 2 and domain number 3. Okay. Remember, it's not in this domain because there's not an equal sign here. Remember, it's got to have that equal sign for it to fit. If it's one of the end points. It does fit here, however, because it's got the equal sign. Does everybody remember that part about the equal sign means that's where it fits? So f of 4 fits in, or 4 fits into this domain because of the equal sign. You come over here, where the x is, you take it out, put a parenthesis, Okay? So I just took the x out. And then you plug in the number that they give you, which is a 4. And then if it was me, I would put that in Desmos the way I see it if I'm not sure about my integers. But that would give me a value of -8. This would be your answer. Just real quick, if they gave me, God almighty, I won't get on. Hello? Hey, what's up, sir? Yeah. Get it. Yeah, he can come down probably like maybe 20 minutes or something, sure, I'll be fine. That'll work. Yes, sir, ma'am. You're welcome. Okay, so say if I have f of 1, okay? Once again, that number shows up in 2 domains, right? Would it fit in domain 1 or domain 2 based on the signage I have? If I have f of 1. The second one, right? Simply because this has the equal to. All right? So just remember, negative, using this function right here. So that would give me -3. All right. Okay, this one is one that gets a lot of people confused. Notice that -1 is in 2 domains, okay? But these do not have the equal to sign, okay? There's no equal to sign here or an equal to sign here. So what that means is -1 is not defined on these two domains, okay? So that being said, even though it shows up as a number here without the equal to sign, that would be undefined. Okay? One other thing. What if I have, with my example, what would be f of 5? Well, now these are compounds, so these are domains between 2 numbers. There's -6 to -1, -1 to +2. Does this show up in any of my domains? It doesn't show up. Undefined. Okay. All right.
Mr. Dolphin, are we going to have a note card on this?
Yeah, I'll get some more. Yeah, I'll cut some more up. All right. All right. On the multiple choice inverses, you will have some that's multiple choice and some that's not. They're either going to be inverses, linear, or either a 5th root or a 3rd root. Okay. So that being said, it says find the inverse function of the function f of x equals 8 over -8 over 9x. Okay. Actually, that's rational there. That's not linear. It's got an x on the bottom. So I'm not going to go into it. Let's look at this one, because that's a rational. All right. Number 8, find the inverse of the function. So guys, remember with inverse, you change f of x to y. Always put your variable in the numerator. Then the second step is change the position of your variables with x and y. All right. Now, we want to leave this to the very end because that's got my variable in. I'm trying to get by itself. So I'm going to subtract 5. So x minus 5 equals Now, if I'm trying to clear my fraction, I need to get rid of this 5 first. So to get rid of that on the bottom, you're going to multiply because it's showing division. Remember that cancels out. You got, if I distribute this. Now guys, 1y and y is the same thing, right? So you don't have to divide by 1 if you don't want to, because 1y and y are the exact same thing. So looking at this, of course you can change that back to inverse notation if you want to. Your answer there is going to be B. You can also use Desmos on there, but I mean with linear stuff it's probably faster to do it without Desmos. All right, real quick with this one. You got a cube root of 2x. Now, notice on my my choices on C and D. Notice I have an x squared here and an x squared here. Okay. Well, that's a third root. That being said, if that's a third root, that's not going to your exponent's not going to be squared. It's going to be the same exponent. So if that's a 3, this needs to be a 3. So that being said, those two can't be the answer because it's a different type of function. All right. So it's either going to be one of these two. Let me show you how to tell the difference. I would pay attention to this because we did not do a lot of these in class. So, all right. Remember your reflection line is always y equals x. Your reflection line is always y equals x. That's why I put that there. Now, put your original in there. Y equals, you don't have to put the f of x. Guys, to get the cube root to come up, you go to functions all the way to the bottom to the number theory. Click that. If you need help with this, I can help you with it. As far as the calculator. Alright, there's the function right there. That's your original. Okay? Just for the sake of time, if A is going to be the answer, but if you look, if you put that answer in, y equals, it don't matter about the notice how they have 3 points that intersect on the line, and those, you could tell that line is symmetrical, or those two functions are symmetrical over y equals x. The answer there would be A. If you look at B, it looks a little bit different. If you put if you put an 8 here, it's going to look close, but it's not going to be exactly. Notice how the red and green, the green being the original, the red being B. Notice how these don't meet on the line. These two right here, that's a good indication that is not the inverse of that function. Another way you could do it is go look at the table and see if the x and y values are swapped. You could do it that way. All right. I just don't want to take up too much of your time. We've already did an inverse of a linear, so I'm not going to do another one of these. If you need help with yours, I can. These will be on here. All right. Remember with these type, you want to get the coordinates that you want to find a coordinate where the black line goes directly through that coordinate grid. Okay. There should be plenty of them here. Anywhere it goes directly through a coordinate grid like that, that's what you're looking for. You want something that goes directly through it. You don't want something that goes through halfway through it or something. You don't want that. I think I chose more than enough, I think. Yeah. So looking at these, that's negative 4, 0. I'm just going to go over here. 2, negative 2. Now remember, to find the inverse of this, I'm not going to graph it because I don't want to take that much time up. To graph this, all you're doing for the inverse is swapping the position of x and y. All you're doing is swapping the position of x and y. And then you would plot these 5 inverse points. So your inverse would be this, the original one's flipped. Okay. All right. One last. I see a couple things. Guys, this is absolute value equations. I would do all my absolute value in Desmos. It's very easy. Remember, y equals the left side in row 1. You want to put y equals the left side in first row, y equals the right side in the second row. You don't have to show any work for these. If they give you a y here, don't use that y, use an x, okay? Always use x as your independent variable. So put an x there instead of a y. All right, very simple. Just go here. It's just where the absolute value and the straight line cross. That's the answers you need. Everybody remember those? Pretty simple. All right. Guys, I'm not going to go over these. They're on the video, the other video. But real quick, on inequalities, if you graph these, you don't have to, like I say, you can graph using Desmos. If you graph this one, this is what your graph looks like. The 2 legs are in the shaded region. The 2 numbers here where they cross is 2 and 16. That was the numbers where they crossed. Remember, if the legs are shaded, it's an or problem. Okay, it's x less than the small number or x greater than the largest number. Okay, so I did that here, x less than the small number, which is 2, or x greater than the larger number, which is 16. So that would be the answer for that one. All right, last but not least, if you graph this one, the V is in the shaded region, automatically you know that if V is in the shaded region, there is your, it's a compound inequality, okay? It crossed at 5 and 13, so you would have, signs are always the same direction. The smallest number on the left, largest number on the right. This is your answer here, okay? And I know that based solely on what is shaded in. V shaded is compound, legs are shaded is the or. That's also known as an and compound and the or compound. I mean, either way you look at it. Guys, with these, I'm going to let you graph these. If you need help with them, there will be 1 or 2 of these on the test. The best way to do this is just graph it. And one thing about these, the only thing that's going to move is the vertex point. None of the other dots are going to move. All you do is move the vertex point, which is the one in the center. Okay, the lowest point in the center. That's where you move it. Like this one for here, I just moved it down 2 units because it's absolute value of x minus 2. Remember, that was the vertical movement. Inside of here is the horizontal movement. If you don't have those on your, I'll get you some note cards. If you don't have that, you probably need to put that on your card. You can actually graph them and just copy the graph onto your graph. That would work too. You'll have Desmos for the whole thing. As far as I know, I don't see anything where you'll need work to be shown. I didn't see anything where work needs to be. So it could be all Desmos, or you don't have to turn the work in. All right.